In this free meme coin trading course, I'm going to show you the exact filters, presets, meme coin settings, and the top strategies I use to find the best entries and exits so you're not top blasting every coin. Let's get into it. So let's first get into our settings here. I'm just going to click a random coin here, but as you can see, I do have instant trade up here. So if you click down here, you can click instant trade and this nice little box will pop up where you can actually put it in your settings. So for our settings here, if we are starting out, I realize I have a lot of people kind of starting out small. So I want to go over the 0.1, and then if you move up to that 1 sol or 5 sol level, you're basically just moving decimal places. So if you trade with more, your fees will be higher. So for instance here, you can actually set these levels. So if we wanted to set this for instant trade, we could put this at 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.75. So if you have a 1 sol account, I would suggest only start out trading with about 5 to 10% of your account. You will probably have to aim for that 0.1 area because the fees will just eat up if you're trading around 0.05. So I would aim for 0.1, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. You obviously don't, if you have 1 sol, you don't want to be risking all of your account on that. So be wary of that, but you usually want to be starting with 0.1 sol. So sometimes it's best to have 2 sol in your account to begin with, just so if you lose 10 trades, which if you're losing 10 trades in a row, there's other things we need to work on like discipline, mindset, our overall strategy or things like that. But these are the presets I would use for instant trade. Once you pull that up, you could have 0.1, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, meaning when you click to purchase these, it'll just click and buy these. So next we are going to get into settings and see, you'll have P1, P2, P3. These are just 3 different settings you can use for when you are purchasing. So for our presets here, if we wanted to make adjustments to these, you can simply do this down below. You'll see like preset 1 here. So I just want to show you my quick settings here. But if I am starting out with 0.1 sol, let's say, I would do, and these are like low volume, mid-range volume, high volume. So preset 1, low volume, preset 2, mid-range volume, preset 3, high volume. So if the chart's kind of moving quickly and you kind of need to snipe your entries, you're probably looking at that preset 3, which I'll get into next here. But for preset 1, if we have lower volume, maybe the chart's not moving as quickly, we could do simply a 15% slippage, maybe even 10% sometimes. This is if we're playing with 0.1 sol, just to be clear. And our priority bribe fee, I usually typically keep it about the same with 5 here. I just use a reduced MEV mode here. And then sell settings, actually a MEV mode off, 15% slippage. Same thing, 0.005, 0.005. Axiom, you can get into trades pretty low on feeds, so it's pretty easily done here. If you are playing with the chart, like I said, a lot of this is going to be dependent on the volume of the chart and how quickly the chart is moving. So you can't even adjust this down to 10 or whatever slippage or priority fee you feel comfortable with. I've even done 0.001 or 0.003, depending on how quickly the chart's moving for preset 1 here. So preset 2, if we have mid-range volume, I might even reduce this down to 22% here and have around that triple zeros of 0.005 to 0.008. But you're usually looking for slippage around 20 to 25%. And you can keep your sell settings, MEV mode off, buy settings. I just do a reduced MEV mode there. So I'll probably keep that at 2. Preset 3, say we're sniping, maybe the chart's moving rather quickly and we're looking to snipe an entry. You'll probably have to bump this up to double zero, so 0.001 and a 30% slippage with this off. Sell settings, same thing, reduced. So that is what I would be looking at if you were playing with 0.1 sol. So if we were playing with 1 sol, these are going to have to move up. So you probably have to reduce this by a decimal point, meaning we're taking a 0 out here. So you could just remove those zeros. Same with this area. So this is if you're playing with 1 sol, and preset 3, same thing. You'll probably have to do 0.01 sol. So you're just basically moving decimals each time you move up in the amount of SOL you're playing with. I thought I'd start out with the 0.1 since I know a lot of people start out around that range, and then we can move to the 1 SOL and just reduce down the decimals. So that is how you would set up your slippage and your priority and bribe fees. Like I said, I would set up a preset 1, a preset 2, a preset 3, 1 for low range volume, 1 for mid range volume, and 1 for higher set volume. And you can adjust as you go. It's really going to depend on how much SOL you're playing with and how quickly the chart is moving. But those are some general settings to get you started. All right, so next thing we are going to go over are the actual filters. I personally don't use filters at this point, but if you were looking to get started and are looking for filters, I will show you some quick settings to help you out. Usually what I'm looking for is I'm just scanning through final stretch or migrated. I really don't play new pairs. So if you're just starting out, I would suggest picking a section, focus on that section. What section do you want to get good at scanning, and then move on from there. New pairs, I feel, are the riskiest to play. You have millions and millions of meme coins pumping out, I don't know, weekly, daily, whatever it is. So you're going to get a lot of scams, a lot of rugs through here, got like a 1% chance of hitting that runner. Once you get to final stretch and even the migrated area, they're a little bit less risky to play. So that's why I focus on those two areas. New pairs you can play and make some good money off of. Pick a section you really want to focus on, whether it's new pairs, final stretch, or migrated, and take it from there. So if we focus on each of these sections here, these are the filters I'm going to show you. So new pairs, whichever one you want to do, we're going to do age 25 max, and here is exactly how we put it in. So if we go to audience here, we can put age 25 max. We can put top 10 holders 40% max. So we don't want too many holders or bundlers in this. 30% insiders, 30% bundlers. If you have more than that, chances are more than likely it's just going to frickin' tank on you and be a rug pull. So be very wary of that. Pro traders, this is the main metric I do focus on, whether it's pro traders or holders, but pro traders 10 minimum. We'll put there. And this is going to vary from day to day. Weekends, you are going to see a lot less volume. Okay. A lot of people don't trade on the weekends. Usually I am focusing on trading during the US hours. I am based in the US, so that is why. But US 8 hours of trading, this is usually when you're probably going to get the highest volume because that's when people trade around. You do have London opening times. You do have Asia's opening time. However, US hours are usually the best trading opportunities available, whether it's futures, stocks, meme coins, whatever it may be. You're going to have a lot of volume during those hours, which is from around 9 a.m. Eastern time to around 3, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So be careful of that. Pro traders, though, we're going to do 10 here. We're going to do a 4,500 market cap minimum. So we can move to metrics here and put in 4,500 minimum. And I'll just show you these filters real quick. And then we will go ahead and actually just look at pro traders. You'll see I don't have a whole lot of metrics up on mine. So final stretch here, age 45 max. So same thing here, this in at 45 max, put top 10 holders 40%. We'll put insiders 30% max, do a bundle amount of 30% max, and we'll do a 9,500 market cap min with pro traders at 30 minimum. So when you do filter these out, you can miss some coins that could pop off. So that's why I have opted away from doing filters. It does say take some practice to getting used to scanning and everything like that. So be careful. You're going to be like, these filters missed a complete runner, and they will. I guarantee you they will. It's not going to catch everything, but this does help filter down a little bit. You'll see we got a lot less coins to look at here. As for migrated, age is 90 max. So I'll go ahead and put 90 max in here. We'll put a 40%. So bundles, insiders, I usually keep around the same. Like I said, we don't want a high percentage of bundle. We don't want high insiders. We don't want a high holders. Why is that? Because then the coin can dump on you. Okay. It can instantly dump on you in a second. So you could put 0.1 SOL and it'll be gone. We'll do a 20K market cap. We'll have pro traders at 50 minimum. And people do ask, what is the number of pro traders you're actually looking for? And it is going to vary week by week, day by day, because meme coin market does move quickly. So depending on how much volume is in the meme coin market, that's why it varies so much. But this is kind of little general guideline I would say to stick with here. Sorry, 20,000 market cap here, minimum. Okay, we'll apply all. You'll see brought down our number a lot. But those are the filters I would stick with in the beginning here. This is what I like to look for. If we do, like I said, I'm usually not playing with filters. I'll just apply all here. Get rid of this dynamic BC though. Usually I'm not playing with filters, but those are the filters I would use if I was. Anyways, we're going to take a look at a few coins now and see if we can catch anything. Just so you had to buy and sell really quickly. You'll see my charts are pretty clean. I don't have a bunch of my display settings. My customized rows, I'm only really showing market cap, volume, fees, transaction, holders, and pro traders. So I don't have all this mumbo jumbo up, snipers, insider, but holders. Depending on what you want to focus on, I know a lot of people have all this up and they're able to scan through this quickly. Me, however, I'm just looking at pro traders and or holders. So I take off all these numbers just so I can see more clearly. Your brain gets less overwhelmed with information when you're looking at all these numbers. So that's why my display is set up just kind of with the bare minimum that I need to look at. So I can just use that. And all I'm really looking for is the amount of pro traders. So we'll go ahead, scan through. Final stretch does take a little bit longer sometimes to get to migrated, so be wary of that. I'll go ahead and start with migrated today. We'll see. So these are the amount of pro traders here. Here's the amount of holders. And I'll just show you real quick all these settings so you get a better understanding of what is what. But if we hover over this, we can see the top 10 holders are at 22%. It's in red. So like I was saying, normally you don't want a lot of holders. You don't want a lot of depth holding. You don't want a lot of snipers in it. You definitely don't want 60% bundle holding. That seems quite a lot for me. So we'll go ahead and pull this up here. You can totally tell this is a rugged coin. How can we tell? We have a lot of large green bars, no real wicks on these, and then it just tops out. So this is a giant rug that you can avoid. And you could have seen this by the bundle amount here at 60%. So that is something you want to avoid there. You'll see this one is nice and green. We have 14% holders, not bad. 0% depth holding. It is 9 hours old, so I doubt it's going anywhere. So this is another rugged coin. So as you can see, we have a lot of weird up and down movements. Anytime you see a chart that's unnatural looking like this, stay away from it. You don't know when it's going to rug on you. Yeah, could you have made some money from those? Maybe. I don't know. I just stay away from them. Who knows what's going on with them? So this one has 73% top 10 holders. Let's see what we got here. Actually, it doesn't look too dang bad, but we're already at 50K market cap. I will tell you psychological selling levels. So those are just the settings here that I quickly went over. We have holders here that I'm normally looking at and pro traders here, as well as dev migrations. So dev migrations means if they migrated coins before successfully, then it could be likely to migrate again. So this guy's migrated 49 times. So this could be a number or something to look at here. Very appropriate coin name, right? Just joking. This coin only goes up. Okay. So as you can see, it's probably getting close to migrating too as well. We have a 95% bonding curve. So usually you'll see around that 50 to 60K area, it will start to migrate. And I'm going to show you a quick little technical analysis skill I use just because we're on the chart. But if you take your fib retracement tool, I like technical analysis. A lot of people in meme coin trading don't. I get it. But I am also a perpetual futures trader. So I use a lot of TA when I am trading. But you'll see here, if you draw this from the bottom to the top here, let's say we did see this coin right here. We don't have all this extra information. Let's just say I can't bar replay an Axiom, unfortunately. But you'll notice it did come down to this 0.618 level, and then it started going up, right? So usually those are some good levels to look at. I'm looking at the 0.5, 0.618, or 0.786 for entries. So if you wanted to wait for additional confirmation, you'll see here we actually made a change of character. Now, what is a change of character? A change of character indicates a change in direction in the trend. So instead of going down now, we are more than likely, not more than likely, but sometimes we are able to go up. So this line I drew here, this would be considered a change of character. Why is that? So we have a high or a lower high based off this, But we are basically beating this high with this high here. That would be considered a change of character. You'll notice we're getting a general uptrend now. That is how you can wait for confirmation and determine if you want to get in the trade or not. Could it still go down? Yeah, certainly. So make sure you're checking like the amount of pro traders. Sometimes I'll see this number tick up along this range, and that could be an extra different confluence to look at with pro traders or holders ticking up as you're seeing this kind of uptrend start to develop at that 0.618 range, which is great. So we made a change in character. We hit the 0.618 pretty perfectly, and that could indicate some bullish momentum. Is that always the case? No, it is trading, so it could just keep going down, certainly. But these are additional confluences you can look for to determine if you should enter a trade or not. So a change of character, I do go over that in my technical analysis video. So you can click above to watch that video. It's a full in-depth technical analysis video. I know meme coin traders hate TA, but these are all things I'm looking at when I am looking to enter a trade. You don't just want to press buy and enter a trade, okay? Even if the chart's moving super fast, even if it's a runner, I don't care. Wait for a pullback. There will be a pullback on the chart, something like this. And then you can catch this move. Let's say you even entered right here, held it to here. That is a 2x. So had you put in 1 SOL, you would now have 2 SOL, okay? So that is what exactly you're looking for. Now, if we were looking at, and I'm just pulling up this chart because it pulled up for me real quick, right? We saw the number of pro traders and it hasn't quite migrated yet. But if we were looking at take profit levels, so where do we want to take profit at? And usually you're going to find psychological selling levels around 50K, 100K, sometimes 200, 300K, definitely 500K, 1 million, 2 to 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, etc. So those are your psychological selling levels where you'll usually see a dump in price, 25K, 50K, 100K, 300 to 500K, 1 million, 5 million. So beware those psychological selling levels with that market cap. You'll see here, it actually came up pretty perfectly before it dumped back down to that 1.272. And these are the areas I'm normally looking to take profit. It's 1.272, 1.618. Can it go higher? Certainly. We're at the 2.272 now, so I'd be wary, maybe even getting out around this level. But these are all levels we can look at to take profit, so we're being safe with our trades. So this is just one example here of how I use TA when trading meme coins. I'll go ahead and turn all this junk off. I don't like seeing all this personally, but just wanted to explain it to you guys. So you'll see we do have 406 holders in this coin. We have 171 pro traders. A lot of people in that coin. We could have sold that maybe an hour ago. You definitely want to be looking at newer coins, so not something that's probably 9 hours old. It's a final stretch. It's not something I'd really be interested in. Not saying it can't go up, but it's a lot less likely. We want to look for those newer coins, maybe around the hour, 15 minutes, 28 minutes. Got some pro traders there, 5 hours. Let's see. Here's 88 pro traders in this one. Hopefully that's not a rug. So we're getting a little bit of downward movement. Final stretch does move a little bit slower before it's migrated, but that is how you could scan the final stretch area and look for entry and take profit points. Let's move to the migrated area, and I'm just going to scan through this. All I'm looking for is the highest amount of pro traders. How many pro traders? I don't know. Okay. I'm just looking for the highest amount and maybe age that's a little bit sooner. So we have an hour here. We have an hour here. That one has a lot. Might be a rug though. You will get bots and pro traders or multiple wallets. I understand this. It's not always only smart money wallets that those pro traders mean. There will be fake outs and everything else, but just pulling up here. Here's a 7-minute. Here's this one. So we'll pull all these up. See if we can kind of find anything here. This one looks pretty solid, has a nice overall uptrend. A lot of smart money wallets were in this one, which is interesting. So all my smart wallets, basically all of them here. I'm not sure about this pump up. Yeah, that holder percentage scares me, so I'm probably going to hold off on that one. Ryan here. But if I do see smart money wallets in these coins, I am more likely to enter. It just shows me it could be a good coin, likely to go up. So here to here. Getting back above means it could continue on an overall downtrend. So that's something to be wary of. We do have an uptrend though forming this way. So we can actually pull up our MACD, see what that's doing. I am on the 5-second time frame when I am trading. So here's our RSI as well. Keep looking. Bear. So we had some smart money wallets in this one too, which is nice. You got back in here. Trying to see if I could find maybe an entry point. This one's an hour old. We're already at the 500K mark. So this is not an ideal spot really for me to be buying. We made it to what, 600K? Probably gonna hold off on that one. Where are we at here? 100K on this one. This one could cook up to 500K. So it's moving pretty quickly. Buy it, Ryan. See what we get. So not a lot of holders. This one's a little bit different. So I'm just going to draw it to the bottom here, which would make sense. Could probably look to take profit around the 500K, but we will keep looking. So you can set multiple take profit levels. Like you can put in 50% here if you wanted. You could put in 100. You could do 75. So I'm struggling with this 300 to 500K area, like I said. Looking for that push up though. I entered late as well. Saw it a little farther back. So let's see if we can get some profit out of this. Once again, it's going to get iffy around the 400 to 500K area. We're coming up to that 1.272 level. So this is a weird graph. I'm not really a fan of this graph. It's not very natural looking, I would say. It could dump on you any instance. Probably just sell here. But as you'll see, it did come up to that 1.272 level. We're just in that 400. 500K's selling level. I saw it kind of late, but that would be an example of those take profit levels and how I drew my fib. If you're looking for entry, this kind of looks kind of ruggy to me on this coin. So I'm not really a fan, but you'll see if we drew this from this top to the bottom of our graph here, here's that 0.618 level we're looking at again. And like the beginning of the video, it didn't come down and touch it exactly. I might have to draw this better, but we did get a change of character off of this area. So we have a lower high here, and then we came up, got a change of character here, came back down to around our 0.618, created almost a double bottom, right? A double bottom there, almost a higher low, signaling once you kind of saw this area, you could probably get in and run this up. So here's your 0.618 level. Once again, I saw it way too late. But if we still catch these trends early, we can hold this. We can look, move this forward. You'll see this is exactly where we had problems at. We had resistance right where I was entering. But right now, it's hitting that 1.618 level from that fib and slowly climbing up to that 500K selling level. Had you entered right when we saw that at the 0.618, I saw it way too late, as you can tell. Not saying, but that's a good 2.5x there. So you put in one soul, you have 2.5, so on and so forth. It's still kind of ticking up here. See how high it goes. But those are some of the take profit levels I look at. You're probably like, why did you draw your fib from here to here? Was tempting to look for an entry, but I knew we were already entering late based on this first wave here. So this is why I was looking around that. I think I drew right here. Yeah, so we saw it right here. I drew my fib from the bottom to the top, looking for those take profit levels. You'll see it's hitting that 1.272. This one's still ticking up. So I could see that 508K level get hit. This is a weirder graph to me. It looks to be a little bit ruggy. So I was like, I don't know if I want to stay in with all this kind of weird pump downs, and this is just a straight pump up. Keep looking here. What's this? Beyond Topia. Looks gross. So just scanning for a lot of pro traders. This one we're on. This one went pretty high, 10 million. So a lot of smart money wallets got in this one too. It's ticking back downward now. So there's that 500K kind of psychological level I'd be wary of. But definitely some bots and stuff. And this is a lot of pro traders. There got to be some insider wallets or bots or something in that. Not saying you can't make money from it, but be careful. Those are the filters. Those are what I look at. I look at the number of pro traders purely only. I usually don't use filters. I'm just scanning for amount of pro traders and looking for the most amount. Your volume is going to be lower on the weekends. So if you use those filters, there might not be as many coins. That's why I tend not to use filters. I like to just scan and see. Do your TA, look for those 0.618, 0.786, 0.5 entry points. See if you get a change of character. I explain changes of characters in my technical analysis video. So if you guys are interested in learning more about TA, it's kind of what I specialize in. I've traded perpetual futures for quite a while. So that is where all my trading techniques come from. Definitely a big perpetual futures player. I do futures every morning and night. So I trade them every morning and night. It's basically my daily income, something I can trust on and rely on regularly. Meme coin market, you're going to fluctuate with volume a lot, and whatever happens with Solana out in the future, who knows? So that is why I trade perpetual futures and have been for a while. Anyways, if you guys do have questions, please let me know down below, and hope this answers a few of your questions, and I will be sure to cover anything you ask down below as well next time. Thank you.